Have you ever felt invisible? Not just unseen, but unfelt, like your presence barely registers in the room, like you're speaking but no one's truly listening? Especially her. You try harder. You listen. You give. You adapt. And yet, somehow, you feel weaker with every effort. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Because what you're feeling is the quiet erosion of your masculine center. And it happens so silently, most men don't even know it's happening until it's too late. There's a truth no one tells you. You're not ignored because you're too kind. You're ignored because you've become too predictable, too agreeable, too safe. And ironically, this makes you emotionally dangerous to women, not because you'll hurt them, but because they can't feel you. And when a woman can't feel you, she can't trust you. The ancient Stoics didn't teach men to suppress emotion. They taught us to own it, to master it. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But most modern men, they seek power outside themselves, through validation, through approval, through romantic fantasy. And in doing so, they surrender the very thing that makes them masculine. Presence. Let me ask you something. How often do you adjust yourself around women? You hesitate before speaking. You soften your truth. You nod when you don't agree. Not because you're weak, but because deep down, you believe your truth isn't enough. Where did you learn that? Was it school? Childhood? Or perhaps it was her silence the last time you dared to disagree. Here's a brutal paradox. The more you betray yourself to be liked, the less likable you become. And women, whether they admit it or not, can feel this self-abandonment. It's not about alpha versus beta. It's about being authentic versus adaptive. And in the long run, women don't trust adaptive men. Why? Because if you abandon yourself to please her, you'll abandon her to please someone else. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But most men have lost their why. They live in quiet resignation, waiting for someone, usually a woman, to give them purpose. But when your purpose is outsourced, you become a slave to the very thing you worship. And make no mistake, worship kills attraction. She doesn't want to be your god. She wants to feel your gravity. So what's the antidote? Radical self-possession. Not arrogance, not coldness, but a quiet fire that says, "I am enough, even if she leaves, even if they all leave." That kind of man, he doesn't chase love, he inspires it. Because love, real love, is drawn to depth. Not perfection, not performance, but truth. And most men have buried their truth so deep, they no longer recognize it. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who loved deeply. He gave everything to a woman he adored: time, energy, dreams. But slowly, she began to pull away. Not because he was cruel, but because he had lost himself. He became a mirror of her desires and stopped being a window into something greater. She didn't leave him for another man. She left him for his absence. Because nothing is more suffocating than being with someone who is no longer there. Psychologists call this anxious attachment, but ancient philosophers called it bondage. The Stoics knew, when you need something too much, you can no longer see it clearly. Desire becomes distortion, and distorted love always ends in disillusionment. So how do you reclaim your center? You stop chasing control over her emotions and start developing control over your reactions. You stop trying to be liked and start learning to be respected, first, by yourself. You stop seeing women as the final test of your worth and start realizing you were never incomplete. You were just disconnected. Disconnected from your principles, from your boundaries, from your silence. from your soul. Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said, "The ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world that it leaves to its children. But what about the test of a man? It's not how many women he attracts, but how many times he refuses to betray himself even when it would be easier to please." Most men burn out because they give their flame to people who never asked for light. They just wanted heat. But a truly grounded man, he guards his flame. He tends to it, and he shares it intentionally, not desperately. So ask yourself, not, how do I win her back? But how do I win myself back? Because when you return to your truth, when you stop performing, when you stand still in your silence and the world still moves around you, that's when you become unforgettable. Stop asking how to be wanted. Start becoming worth remembering.